what I'm hearing. Arriba, arriba, arriba. And I'm shaking. And I am having to hold the phone with this. My name is Chastia Brigitrieve. I have had to claim the name of Stewart and many others down the lines over the past 7 years because I am attached to princess DNA and have always been hybridized in here holding it as a part of your planetary system. A ton of us are attached to 800 million years ago. This is the evolution of the human race that really, in a way, had been hijacked. I'm gonna do my best to get through this video right now, because we're gonna be talking about a couple of different things that happened on the journey, and I'm gonna show y'all some pictures. So please do your best to follow with me and send me your support as I walk through this. What my job was, and if you even go back to this channel in 2018, when it was taking us 3 hours to upload videos, if we even mention the word draconic or dracon, because all of you are, every single being, human down here at this point in evolution, you have alpha draconic energies running through your field, which is what gave you a pineal gland. It gave you a third eye. It gave you senses that you didn't have. It was, and it is why the mummies that you would call that were in your king and queen's chamber, that were in Giza, pointed directly up to Rigel and Thuban. As a conscious collective, Egypt was an in-between. It was not a final anything, or else we wouldn't have to be rewalking Egyptian timelines right now. The process of tuning the human race up in order to hit this alignment took 1,000,000 years. The human race, the cosmos has been attempting to tune the human race in one timeline, 963 years overdue, and another timeline, 693 years too soon. If you go look at the cosmos and you study and go read what you can about Ophiuchus, what you're gonna find is that it's the story of the 1,000 years of peace. Ophiuchus is supposed to bring in the 1,000 years of peace. Why? Let's talk about it. Ophiuchus and Orion, because remember, and I'm gonna, this is the draconic. This is the draconic constellation, and you know how I tell y'all there's these rings on it, and I've got another ancient picture that's not like this, and basically what it shows you, this is where the 13 is, right here, right there. That's the 13. This is where we were chained. Andromeda was chained. Our etheric galactic body that hooks in with Virgo. It's like the oversoul of Sophia. that's connected into the deep, deep, deep space from all the way out in Draconic, not in a cylinder where it's just the Milky Way. It's going to connect all the way out. And as it goes, and we're like, and it's like we were in this snake, and as it goes and hits here, then it would start coiling, and this would create a dimension of space and time. Then we progressed, then it was X, then we came down here, like the whole entire wheel that we know it as the wheel kind of is like right here. It's kind of like right here. Like Libra and Aries. Notice 2s on one side, notice 1s on the other. It's literally literally like a bridge right here. It's the body templates that are going through. Up here would be where the snake mouth is. As far as the feminine, and even Mar-Lago, when I talk about Mar-Lago and being buried, and this is the Tsul princess. We're going to talk about this. This is the pink goo, the reason that there was goo, the reason there's pink cocaine out there right now, the reason that, and how clones were being made, and how they were using tissues and using trash. The people, the businesses down here that were running trash, we're taking care of waste for any reasons, are going to be your most powerful groups down here. Now, 2018. So first, I'm going to come back and talk about this, but I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how it happened, because we popped through here. We popped through here. I want y'all to look up here. This is Polaris. Polaris is not the pole star. Polaris is Gemini. This is tied to Betelgeuse, which is a super red giant that takes you completely as far off of evolution count as you can. This was what the moon was mirroring. The old moon, the moon that's only set to mirror the top of the Milky Way and the bottom of the galactic cosmic count. There's going to be another moon that's between the galactic cosmic count and what you'd consider nothing on the other side, which is 55 dimension, which, by the way, is where 5D is, and all this stuff, bridging it from 3D to 5D and all that. That's going on the other side of the Milky Way, connected all those energies from the human race and the harvesting, and then what's being done for the human race, above the human race. And this is the part that we never had control of at all until 7 years ago. Now, (2017) is when I activated. I've got to find some pictures here. And I didn't know what was going on. I've told that story here a couple of videos ago. And it was June 16th, 2017 in Frisco, Texas, which, by the way, they're talking about changing DFW to DFFW. They're talking about changing it from Dallas Fort Worth now to Dallas Frisco Fort Worth, because Frisco is where the divine feminine and our collective had to bring in this energy I'm about to show you. I mean, it's literally that little kite that I showed you ended up being Texas. This is why Elon Musk is all up in my chili down here. It ended up being Texas, where we actually birthed out and became whole on the other side as one big being to hold the whole thing for a giant transfusion. And all of us that have been blowing up our etheric bodies and doing all this healing and this and this and this, this is the pressure that you're feeling. This is the tiredness you're feeling. This is the mind stuff you're feeling or lack of. Where this is all those things, because as a collective, it's what we were here to do, because our bodies had what? Recessive genes to be able to remember an ancient birthing process Why did it go different this time? Why is this so different? Because we popped up out of that hole in Draconic. Now, 2017 in May, I activate. Everybody thinks I'm nuts. I don't even know what's going on. My eyes are dilated for about a week. Because what I know now is that I don't even think there was a thing called Kundalini. I think Kundalini is the snake that comes up in your energy field, and only when there's a rebirth process. The divine feminine is the Kundalini. The divine feminine comes from deep, deep, deep Ophiuchus galactic space. It travels in a big bubble. It all culminates in an alignment in order to put everything back together, show everybody how everything was being done, because the human race was in a training program in Orion. It was a handoff that we always did. The human race had to go down into Orion. We were finishing the shadow stuff in Gemini. The wheel was not completed. We actually did 5 trips into Gemini. If that's a 1,000,000-year cycle, then that means that the human race was in Gemini cycles for 5 million years. At least. At least. 2018, after I manifested a way out of my house, I'm going to start with this first. This is 2017. I'm going to go there next. This is 2017. This is in my backyard. This is my company was stolen 2013. I activated 2017. I had a Patrick character that was like this weird in-between character that popped up around my world in 2012. He popped up in my world 2017 when this was going on. And then in another dimension, he popped up in Joshua Tree, which was even crazier. But Patrick, I didn't know anything about my powers. All I knew at this point is that I had been at the reserve. Let me see if I can find. This is a picture of me at 1 year old, and we're going to get back to this. If you saw the cover picture, then your mind should be blown right now. I was at a reserve in a spring. And I don't even know if I've got that picture on here. I don't think it's on here. I was at a reserve in nature, and I had took my moccasins off, and I was listening to YouTube, and I was listening to a video about the Essenes, and my feet were in the spring, and I was given, in 2017, when I first activated, I started doing a lot of reflective stuff up at the sun. The people around me were telling me don't do it because they can see you. So it's like I was fracking energy back at the sun. And I was given some magnets, and I was given some, they weren't crystals, they were actually like chandelier crystals, so they were plastic with a little hole in it that you hang it on string. I was given some of those, and I know now that I was kind of perfecting how I moved energy with them. So I had these 2 little chandelier crystals that I had on a fishing wire, and I had that with me, and I was in the spring, and I put the crystal pieces in the water and was letting the spring and the energy take over those crystals with my feet in the water as I was listening to the Essenes. And I was taking pictures of how the light was refracting from the spring. And literally, I don't know if it's Moses, God, I'm not sure, but a full-on man character in a series of pictures that I have showed up. I mean, perfect picture. of what looked like maybe even Moses or Jesus peeking around a corner. And these are pictures that I know someday are going to be worth billions of dollars, including the ones I'm about to show you and the one I started out showing you. So for me, I was trying to figure out how the hell I did that. How did I do that? Cause I was listening to the Essene, and my feet were in the spring, and I had the little reflector light, so it picked up the energies that were around me. Cause all I was doing was my picture picked up a deity that I had called in because of what I was doing and listening to, and my field was so big, but I didn't realize it yet. Okay. So I called Patrick and another couple, and I said, come to my house, let's do an experiment. And we got in the pool. I got in the pool. Now now I'm going to go back to these pictures. Now I got to pull back up where I had them. So thank you for sticking with me. In my pool, this is like a grotto. Now notice what picture is right before this. I'm in a Tesla. Okay, I'm in a grotto. If you know what a grotto is, and there's a waterfall that comes underneath. We had the waterfall off. Patrick was standing on top of the grotto, and he had a flashlight that he would, because it was nighttime, and he had a flashlight that he was shining straight down into the pool, and I'm like I'm on a little seat right here. There's a little seat. And at the bottom of the pool, we put a mirror. I had one square mirror. So I have a square mirror down here at the bottom of the pool. He's shining a light straight down. It's the second day we did some other stuff, because after we did this, we were like, holy crap. And I got in the pool with these two fishing lines. Well, it's one fishing line and two strings. So is one fishing line, and I held it with this finger and held it with this finger, so it made like an arc. And then I had those two prisms that were underneath it. And I just started moving those, this one this way, this one this way. I was just slinging. All I did the whole time, y'all. All I did the whole time was sit there, not move my hands, hold them completely still, and then let that crystal, which wasn't even crystal, it's plastic, it's just a light fracker, it move in these circles. And I started feeling the energy start move through me, and they were just all taking pictures. And when we got done with the pictures and we looked at them, we almost lost it. All of us, we freaked out. Now, what I know I was doing now, I mean, I was in water because I was cleaning the swamp, and I was cleaning the bottom of the ocean. This is also the bottom of the galactic. This is also basically what you'd consider water from the deep, like a bubble of it that was another dimension from what you'd consider the white Draco and the black Draco, because everybody needs to remember the white Draco. I mean, shit, the whole world was enslaved by these 12 motherfuckers. Like, if anybody's been your biggest warriors down here, it's been your white Draco. The reason that the white Draco couldn't do much to help the human race from their position is because the black Draco tarnished the name so bad, and everybody was sending us such horrible energy, but you didn't realize that you was beating up on the ones that were held captive being used against you. But you wouldn't have known that. You wouldn't have known that. So I started slinging those, and this is the first picture that we got. That is carbon. When we talk about carbon, and we talk about how carbon then forms in the realms, and then how this density is pulled up and turned to light, I'm showing you the process. I captured it as I was pulling it through my body to open up the heart, the bloodline, the body, to basically pull the human race and our body through what you'd consider that cave. So when we first started, it magnetizes to the density, and you see the reds and you see the purples, and then what you see now is that density that's magnetizing to me, and I'm pulling it up. Here's what the picture looks like. This one's just in X-ray. Here's what the picture looked like without X-ray. As we, and I kept moving them because this all happened pretty fast. I mean, this is 10:54 p.m. See, they were just click, 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 taking pictures. Now you can clearly, visibly even see what looks like a mermaid tail. Those black pieces that you saw in the other picture are going to be this white light right here. But see how the light is coming up, but then the illusion is being formed down here. Oh, wow, CK. I knew I had to come on and do this one today. Now look. Now look. It's building up. What does that look like? That looks like a bull. I see a bull. I see a dragon head even. But notice there's no energy in my body. I'm only doing this with the water, the reflections, and everything that's happening in the water. I'm not pulling any of it through my body yet. Okay? So on this day, June 16th, 2017, you can basically say we opened Pandora's box. We were the ones to do it. Pandora had all our children in it. Each one of them had to get back into our energy because of how Alpha Draconic was formed. But my point is, our whole world and your whole dimensional illusions and everything that we're walking through, I don't care if you got killed, attacked, what it is. It's all an illusion down here that was being puppeted up here. I proved it. Now watch. Now, see how the density, what time is it? It's still 10:54. I mean, this is how fast this happened. This is why we were all blown away. See how this light now, I'm still moving because no matter what, you have to carve up that density. You got to get through it. This is why you're doing it in the etherics, and it happened, you know. Look, hopefully it's not happening to you. Hopefully it's happening in the etherics. But this is how you still got to get through these pieces, okay? Now, boom, shakalaka, 10:54. All that. There's the snake. There's the divine feminine right there. Right there. Let's blow it up. See? When it starts coming up through my spine, because that's what happened. I had to pull it through my body. I had to pull it through my body, through my spine, and out of my heart. Now look. Left ear just went nuts. Good. We're right. This is that Kundalini snake that the breath of fire was calling down and everybody in that cult was waking up. Well, you woke it up all right. Where are all of you? You need to become supporting us now. You woke it up. Kundalini Katie had a field day. Now, let's look at this energy down here, because what's really cool is to watch this. Now, when I talk about polarity and densities and pure light and pure dark, like, realize that most of it's being manifest from the dark. Most of it's being manifest from the dark. Now, I'm saying that for every single damn thing that's down here that scares you in the physical or in the ethers. It's made from the dark. This is you. You're the light. When those two come together, then they make something. This energy right here is controlling this energy. I'm going to prove it to you. Look at this. So this is where it was coming through my field, okay? Look at that. When that, now look down here. See how they just separated? This guy's down here and is like, whoa, you just took my skeletal. See this right here? You know those blobs that were floating around Antarctica? Well, that's our head. That's our head. We don't need to worry about it now. Our head's been put back in. Now this when you're in an ascended field, this is what you're holding. This is the Osiris. When I talk about Osiris, it's the bottom part of the planet, and it's going to be going clockwise, and it's going to be going super slow like lava. The Isis energy, which is your top half, is going to be going counter and really, 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 really fast. Or those could be the opposite, or they could have just changed, because I mean those do change when you get up into the different orbs, right? But one's going one way really slow, the other one's going the other way really fast, because it's going to pull it and draw it all the way up. That's what your body is made to do. But notice how it didn't create this light being until it went into the body. Let's see what time this was. 10:54. It is. It's blue blood and red blood. This is what I had to do when I woke up, planted a new earth. May we planted a new earth. This happened. This was us inseminating the new earth. But it came through my body, because I had to process it and basically magnetize all those recessive genes out in order to get what I needed to do, what had to be done in February and January 2019 when they came to inseminate us. Because it's how they were doing it. We've had all the energies to back it off. Now let me keep going, because this is when it gets trippy. In the wheel, this is Libra. In the wheel, if I'm going through, and this would be Virgo. This is like Aries. This is like Aries. This would be Pisces. I'd be Pisces. This would be Aries. This down here would be like the Pleiadian piece. This would be Gemini. Because now you've got to merge this collective energetic with what's really going here, right? Because there's two heads now. Now this is Libra. Now you're holding connections down here, and you're holding connections to everything that's manifesting. All the energies coming through you, but then it creates this other little world. And then this happens. This is Antares. Now let's look at the time. 10:55. So it took a minute. This. It took a minute for me to pull it all the way up into my field. This is Sagittarius. Now this picture scared the living shit out of us. I mean, it scared the living shit out of us. I know that those people left looking at me different. Now I know. Now notice how this mirrors. Because basically this is Sagittarius. And what this is all this energy out of here. Now it's up in your head. You're not, whenever you're processing it, you have to pull all this up into your field. Now you're having to process it with your mind. You've got all this energy is now being held up here in the top part of your body. Okay. And when that denseness comes into your field, this is what happens. And it was so nuts because I just happened to turn my head and look at her right when this part of the alchemy was happening. But notice this illusion field. Okay. Now this was at 10:55, but we weren't done. See, this is the problem. This is what happened to the world. Everybody gets stuck on Antares and Sagittarius. Everybody wants to get to Egypt and then stop the process. Well, then whenever you do, then your mind is disconnected from everything that made your body, and then your mind is running. It's a complete disconnection, and this is also where the divine feminine comes in your energy, and you're pissed off. It's primordial anger. You don't even know where to place it. But you got to keep going. See, this is where the world sat down and stopped, made a reptile its king. And the ones who did that knew that they were trapping us to make it. Here's the actual photo, which is even more frightening. Now, I know in my journey, I want to remind y'all, when I did this and this crazy journey that I talk about, I walked this. When I did this, I then had to walk it. And this is like two years of me walking through industry, coven magic, dealing with NATO, fucking all this crazy ass shit. This is why. Because I processed it through my field. Notice this little right here. See how look at that. I've got some others. These are in my favorites. Like, I've got this is nuts, this whole thing. Here's where we end up. So this is at 10:55. Same time. I mean, it happened, like I'm telling you, I turned, looked at her. This was a blink second that I was in this energy, but we captured it. Now what I'm doing is I feel this energy in my body. When I got to this stage right here, I started feeling the pressure and the power of the water coming through my body. I was just staying focused. I could feel it, like I was having to bring it through my body. And I picked up the string right here because I knew I had to pull it through my heart. So this is what this is. This is the energy coming through the heart that was stuck in Sagittarius. Now I'm starting to pull it out now. See, now I've got it balanced. And these are even the colors, like that because the energy totally shifted. Okay, now I'm balancing it. Look at that. Now I'm balancing it. These energies are starting to like separate and form. And they're starting to form with this here. So it's coming out of your heart and it's coming from the carbon. Because remember, this is where the carbon was. So now these two are magnifying here. And I'm balancing it out for them to form. There's the eagle. What have we been turning Scorpio into? Eagle. Now, when I did this, look at the next picture, because I made this picture. So this picture happened, and then I just put these side by side so you could see them. See how it's all this energy. I'm holding it. Now the light is coming through my chest, but then whenever I turn to light, look at these codes on my face. And then what happens? The eagle comes out. See this mask right here? Notice how the mask is on the eagle? Remember, this is where the water is. So it's this mask. This mask was on the eagle. The mask is starting to fall off. See, now the eagle has no head. This light is starting to fall off, and it's pulling codes from my face. There's that little fishing wire I told y'all about. That's what happened next. This is what happened next. This is the picture of me. It was the most, when this fell off, because it did. This fell off into the water. And when it did, it created such a light force. This is really all light. This was all dark. Like the rays and everything that were coming. I'm right here. This is where we're living right now. This is the new earth. This is how we even got up to Maldek. Whenever I pull up the thing and I say Maldek's right here, and it was Venus's twin, and Earth was way down here, and we proved string theory, you better bet your ass we did. Because all I did was clean out my heart to see all the attachments that were lost in space. And when it did, it pulled up a new realm. And we've been fighting for it ever since. And it's what's lining up. And I've got, I mean, this actually, if y'all know anybody who make videos, I've got way more. We came back and did a second round the next day. The reason Patrick was all up in my chili was because this had happened right before it. This is what I was using in the water, and he was an artist, and I held up this. When he gave him to me, I held it up to this light, and he took a picture, and this emblem appeared on my hand, and he sent it to a Jewish rabbi, and the Jewish rabbi told him something, 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 and then we started looking, then that's when all of this started coming out, like, who the fuck am I and what's going on? Because remember, y'all, I was remembering this at the same time. Like, nobody was there like me telling you anything. All us that had the last 7 years was figuring it out. The thing is that I want y'all to see is that we did. Because this is what's happening to all of you right now. This process is happening to you right now because it's already been done before. All you need to do is reconnect that. This is what I called in yesterday. All of you who have mastered Pisces energy, if your Pisces house is empty in your natal, you just got your mastery back all at once. Same way I did. But it's all connected now to open you up. It's no longer separated. Now, pay attention to this deep hole. And now I'm going to go back. This is your 13. This is where all 13 families were ever formed. This energy. Now I'm gonna go. Now that's 2017. I've already done that part, right? Then I had to manifest a buyer to get out of my house. I had to manifest all this stuff to get, and I did. They couldn't believe I did because they had already had me bankrupt. They were fixing to kick me out of the house, even though they had stole my company, stole all my money to do it. But you see what the Most High did? He just had me activate and plan a new earth. It's like, okay, if you're going to come after her, then we'll just fucking build something new. We've been doing it for 7 years. You're part of it. Every single 13 family, basically our head, if you in space, our head, and this is why when I was in 1983, they put me in a chamber, put needles in my neck. We were your head. We were your brain. This is why it's the headless woman, because the head was in their world, not yours. The brain and the 13 segments is the wheel. It's the 12 segments of the mind that were made by the human, the DNA that was involved with all of it from the beginning of the word. If you're surprised that there's beings down here like me, then you should be surprised, because we're surprised too when we came down here. All of us were making phone calls going, what the fuck is going on with Earth right now? Why do I know all this shit? Migraines, all of it. It's because the migraines were sucking the energy out of your brain, literally, just like Joker and the Batman. Now, this is where Trump comes in. 2018, I move over to this house. I'm having to break people off my bank accounts. I'm having to untwine from all this crap that people had, you know, because I was letting everybody live off me. I was supporting everybody. I was the man. I was the one with the company that then went bankrupt. But then, you know, they would take everything from us to make us create something new so that we would create something new, and then they could take it. It wasn't even about the money. It was about the creation. So 2018, I just cut some people off my Prosperity Bank account. Now, Prosperity Bank is pivotal in all of this, because it's a bank that was formed out of Bryan College Station back in the day in Texas. And there's only certain ones of us that have connections to that. And the mimics and the people that stole all the data in the systems that knew all this stuff because they had data. They didn't know you. They just had control of all the data in the systems. Prosperity Bank, now we know, is some type of originating vault sequence to the hybridizations and stuff that were done in Germany. Because you got to remember, in another realm, a bank is also a blood bank. Because in another realm, you don't even have money, you have blood. So a lot of in the other realms, you were paying with your own blood because it's all you had, literally. And it's why the human race got so screwed up, because this is what was going on in the higher dimensions because of what was going on with the humans. What was going on with the humans was affecting everything. Not, you know, that was the problem. You know, you're talking to the one that in 2018 got brought up to testify for the human race, and they wanted to just kill everybody. They told me to get in the car and let's go. By that time, I had enough knowledge to know something was wrong and it wasn't the human's fault. And I stood up for everybody, and then I got left behind to walk this motherfucker. And let me tell you, I'll never do it again. And neither will one of my team ever, ever, ever do it again. Never. It was laid for one time. It had 1,000,000 years of energy in order to process it, because it's how long at least it had been going on. Now I'm thinking it was 800 million years of energy that came through me to activate this, to activate a new Earth and a new solar system. That sounds a little bit more right. But there was only one geyser it could come out of. This is why Russia has a poop chute that flared up this week. is all just hinging the whole planet to not move, but it was hinged to Draconic to hold a moon. Amun Ra. So in my world, I meet these crazy people. I'm dealing with Prosperity Bank. I just cut Mark out of my life, and then I had a Mark pop up. If you're Christ and you're in the Bible, you got a shit ton of marks all around you, and they're trying to mark you. Because it's what the Bible says, and it's what it even says Christ to go do. So FYI, Mark. So when I mean, literally, I had to, because this was in the beginning when I was terrified even to cut these lines from me. And I had gone to the bank, I had come back, and and I was calming myself because I had just cut them off my bank account, and I felt it. I knew I was going to have some type of blowback. And I pull up in the driveway, I open the car door, and lo and behold, there's a bald man that supposedly lives across the street. His name is Mark, and he's got a Chihuahua. Then I end up having the Chihuahua. Mark ends up getting $5 million after, for 7 days, from May 3rd to May 8th of 2018, I spent time with him, and I knew that in some weird way, he was a Zeta Reticuli. He was also and looked just like Princess Margaret's husband, Elizabeth's sister, the husband that she married him, and he was not in the line. He was the first one that wasn't in the line. He looked exactly like that dude. Now, he ended up selling the codes. This is the Divine Feminine codes. He sold them to Axiom for $5 million, and within 3 days, he was gone from my life. At the same time, Mark Cuban and IBM and a man named Ross Genovich, who was one of my clients in technology, I activate and I call him because I'm telling him what's going on. He sends me to a woman that he calls Abby, I think. I had so many Abbies and Addies that I get them confused. This woman was some type of Egyptian. I would call her definitely like a Nephthys type energy. And when I met her, she was like, oh my God, you're exactly how I thought you would look. This was like the first time that the world was telling me what I already knew, that I was some type of incarnate. And I thought that this woman was helping me. I get called to her apartment. I go to her apartment, and there's a guy there. I had just got some rocks and some crystals from a man who is linked to Donald Trump. He calls himself a stone man. Donald Trump called him the Darth Vader of Wall Street. Because in the 80s, the government found him as a teenager in churches prophesying. And the government hired him to come in, build a team of remote viewers, and train them. He was responsible for tracking all of us down. They look for X factor in your blood. They're pulling up your charts. They want to see your palms. They're looking for X factor. This is how they find you. He had a team of remote viewers that he was running. When the government started asking him to remote view the daughters and keep track of like everyone around the leaders that supposedly we were worried about, is when he said he got out of the game. When he got out of the game, he went into corporate. In corporate, he was a remote viewer. Now we know major corporations had remote viewers. This is how Trump got all of his money. This is how Trump got the real estate deals he did. When this man was in that, he had a complete activation and he almost killed himself. He got so coiled up in it, which is what's going to happen. He got so coiled up in it that he had basically an activation. He had a dark night of the soul, and this is when he remembered he was Aztec and he was a stone man, and then him and his wife were traveling around selling these stones and crystals. He had come into my world. I had bought Moldavite from somebody else. I had wore it to the meeting. He had me take it off. That's the first time I realized that Aztecs and root races react to Moldavite. But basically those pictures that I just showed you of my body were in the energy of Moldavite and how it's able to pull the carbon out. They wanted my son's name, and I wouldn't give it to him. I wouldn't give him, there's certain things I wouldn't give him, but I bought that rock. And I remember the wife was like pissed off. She couldn't believe I wouldn't give her the information she asked. Now I know it's because the other beings didn't have the ability to tell them no, and I did. So anyway, I leave. Now all that had happened. I've got that rock. I take it with me to Addie's apartment. When I'm there, all of a sudden, and I think I'm just there sharing what I've learned about the charts. I think I'm there just to do their charts. And all of a sudden, the energy compounds and I start birthing through this hole. First, I had to stand up. I had to, there was certain, I had to make a cross with my body. Then I had to move my arms a certain way. And I had to, now remind you, my back, I had a 360 spine. Your earth was turned around wrong side backwards from your L4, L5. That's how they had for fourth and fifth dimension, and it's why they had their back door. Because they had already done a spinal 360 on me. So I'm supposed to bend backwards. I'm a dancer. I'm made to bend backwards. I'm the earth. What started happening was it's like I had to pose in these different poses, and then I started crying because I immediately started seeing the world fall, like rivers, rocks, like all this shit everything was falling. The whole world was falling. And I had to bend backwards and do a back bend. And I knew as I was doing it, I was trying to cover as much as I could of like Asia and Russia. It was like a big umbrella. Then that's when I realized why that black guy was there, because he was a trainer. So literally we had to stop everything and they had to stretch me out. I get back up and I finish the sequence. They're sitting there on their laptops, keying shit in. And all I remember is them saying, fear cleared, pain cleared. At this point, I'm screaming and crying on the ground because I see my son is getting taken away from me. At that point, I really thought he was dead. And this is 2018. I'm screaming on the floor. I'm seeing everything fall. I'm in the middle of a complete freak out. And Addie looks at me and she says, pull it together. This is your destiny. He has to walk his. And when she said that, it's like I caught a snap all of a sudden. And it was like I put my hands, it's like I was coming out of this hole. It's like I was right there. And I put my hands on each side of this and popped my head into a new bubble. It's like it really was like putting your head through a balloon, like where you blow it up. It's like my head popped in through that little bitty, my head popped in there. And I'm looking around. Nobody's there. There's nothing there. It's a completely new bubble. Like nothing's there. We're calming down from the whole thing. It's now, mind you, it started thundering and lightning and like all this is happening and the fucking weather's going nuts. Like, and and the whole time I was doing it, I had that rock in my pocket. Now that rock in my pocket was like an Andromeda type stone. It was kind of like a Moldavite type. It's like what ships are made out. And so all of a sudden Addie goes, why am I hearing Trump right now? And I said, well, it could be because I have this rock in my pocket. So I take out the rocket. I mean, exactly, the rocket. And the rock, we command everything wrapped around rock, delete. I hand her the rock, and she puts it up to her forehead, and she immediately goes into this alpha draconic light language, and that I'd never really heard. It was kind of like Transylvanian, I would even call it. And she's on a telepathic conversation with Trump. I'm like, well, I got this rock from Trump's guy. So she puts up the rock to her forehead, and I could even tell she was talking to him because now after this, I ended up having him in my consciousness, but because he was trying to spit off, he was being cocky, and she was telling him, no, no, you have no more time. You must clean this up now. It has happened. It is done. Clean it up now. And I could tell he was like, no, 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 because she's rolling her eyes. She was like, no. Okay. And she told him that he had to clean up his mess. Very next day is when everything came out about Maple. Very next 2 days, 48 hours later, is when I'm on the phone with supposedly my birth grandmother. Like, Trump and I immediately had information that was either going out or coming in that were filling this gap. Now, what I know now is that that's when our head went up in here, and then this is when we started, because this baby is the key that's connected, because this is Polaris, so this is Gemini, and this is even in Detroit, the two buttholes statues, and how I told you that energy weaves through. If these are standing up and you snake through, it's like, it's okay. This is what this is, and this is where this energy, if it just went straight up, if it was just going straight up and merging, then eventually it would only get up so high, and it would have to go through here. So basically how it worked is it would build, and then it would shoot through here, but then it'd end up holding this. Well, this time it was all in the vein system. This is how we ended their bloodline. We really did. Like, we changed their sequence. This is how they can't, they're all changing now. When we talk about the city of October 6th, this draconic inclination for this constellation system is at 10.6. So this is why the 6th of October is right above all the tombs and the mummies in Egypt in the desert. One of our heads was always up there channeling all this. The body is the planet, but what I've and nobody was getting their connection in their body. Your head was like connected to your feet. Your soul was connected to your mind. You weren't processing it through your whole body. And that is what the vaccination did. It was running the human race off your mind, not the process of energy coming through your body in order to create your reality. But your entire body was turned off. There was only 0.02 left of human DNA back down here whenever I activated to print a new earth. Why did you think I had to? We went through a delta. I've been talking about this for a while. We know that Beltagese, Beetlejuice, Blue. This is why they're trying to put that movie out again. Send everybody back to Beltagese with their little propaganda bullshit. No. The Bellatrix movie would already be out if they would have had me properly inside the industry. But the Delta is also Rigel. I knew that Rigel, that Stargate blew, because basically it was set up like a mind Stargate. They were still in your mind consciousness and then just projecting themselves in from a root. So Delta Draconis is a giant star with stellar classification of G9 3. So G9 to the third. So that's like 9, that's 3 9 currents. So that's basically 3 archangels. But the problem is we didn't have 4 linked in until we finished this. The whole wheel was running on 3 spokes. It's why there was a wobble. Why? Because the human connection that I just showed you exists was cut off. It's what every single one of us have been tuning our vessel. It ain't tune your mind. It's retune your body. This indicates that an estimated age of 800 million years, it has exhausted the supply of hydrogen at its core and entered a later stage in its evolution. The angular diameter of the star is estimated as 3.37 or 0.06 mass. Now, this is what's interesting, because what did I tell you? There is only 0.02 left. There was only 0.02 left. How many did I tell you that they had to kill of us? 6. Was there a specific 6? Yes. It was ordered to control this mass. This is why they can't believe I'm alive. They killed me on every single dimension. All of y'all rebirthing me attached to the natural organic machine is what has kept me alive. This is why I say I've been dead for a year over here. At least 1, really 2. Really, I'm 2 years old. Now, Delta Draconic is the northern pole star of Ceres. Lying 1.5 degrees from the true pole. What have I been saying the whole time? Everything was off 0.5. What happens in Vega? Every single star point in 32 star points is going to be at 0.00, except when you're dealing with Vega. Vega is going to put it at 11.55. Vega is dead on at 13.55. It goes to 15.55. In the middle of Capricorn is where you get this 0.5 differential. Not anymore. If you're looking at the whole cosmos, that's draconic. And it's the seam that aligns this energy up here that's coming in through the cosmos, and all the other constellations are made with humanity. If you have a star and you know about a star and you know about a story of the mythology about that star, then it's been around since they found it or it showed up, because it's only reflecting all of us down here through little pinpoints in a dome. When enough of us get down here that are in that energy, it powers up that star. It's why when Yahshua was born, the star of Sirius appeared, but it's because that's how far we were separated already. That's why Yahshua appeared when the star was just getting born way the fuck out the bottom of the whole thing in Sirius, which is way, 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 way over here. Beltages and the red giants are way over here. The way the whole thing moves up in evolution goes like this. They had it all turned this way, and it was spreading out this way instead of this way. So they could hold this and still be able to get into the human race. How old is the Tsul princess? Now, me and Michelle have known since I flew Michelle through the portal to get to Amsterdam from the Netherlands, and then I had to guard the portal to get her into the United States last year. As soon as she got into the United States and plugged her phone into the internet, she completely started dry heaving and throwing up. I had to literally throw her in the shower and give her an etheric steam bath. This is how bad the United States internet has demons and shit in it. It's totally different from the internet system that's running in the other countries. Anybody that's sitting in another country right now that's claiming to be the king or queen of monarch of another country, they're lying. They're lying. Anybody that's holding any power right now across the world in every single race is in the United States. I can promise you that. This is why they were down here building up their mosques and their little grid system on top of our little wood grid system. Those electric poles ain't going to be nothing but give y'all more static as we move away from you. Because all of you that hooked up your energy into a dead body and hooked up your brain into a dead brain, that's what's going to happen now. They won't have any more brain power. We don't have to worry about them being in our consciousness. They don't even have a connection when this is fully separated if they keep doing what they're doing right now. But it doesn't look like it's going to stop. It looks like they're just going to see it play out. All right, well, I'm telling you what's going to happen. All your woke people that never did the processing, just wanted to spin some codes and do it all in their mind. Well, now you work for the devil, basically. And in a million years, the one who came after me will have to activate the human race. They'll have to pull it out, same way I did. They'll have to put it all back together. Anybody that's watching this channel that you came after me, I suggest that you make it right by me. And that includes YouTube and the corporation and broadcast and the whole damn thing. We don't really give a shit if you do or not. We don't need you anymore. I'm telling you for your own damn good. Because in a million years, you're going to be the one running around here trying to convince a whole bunch of robots that they're human. Because it is what you set up. If you don't know about this story about the Tsoul princess, please go look it up. I have always known, and that, number one, it's soul. Oh, there's so much to this. This is a name they came up with, by the way. They named the princess, not now they found this in the 60s. What have I been saying in the 60s? That was a complete timeline change. What have I been saying? We've had to do everything to get back in here. Number one, there wasn't even a woman down here that could make us in her womb because the DNA was dumbed down so much. We literally had to bring it back in all other ways possible, all split up at the same. And that has been all these artifacts and things that have been attached to our energy. Now, she was in pink goo. Right now, in this picture, it's showing it just as water. But she was floating in what they called pink goo. Okay, this is why they tuned goo in space. This is why they're all bowing down to a reptile. What's so fucking crazy about it is that the reptile that they're bowing down to is the one that they sacrificed. Wrap your mind around that. Like, they're so fucked. This energy was never down here in order to create an industry at the end of days that just did what they did. They were basically, our mission formed the industry. The industry reported to us. It basically kept all of it in a little DNA strand to at least where they were all trading it in amongst themselves. You can basically think of the industry as like they set themselves up as the new Egyptians, trying to run everything. And even Terrence Howard and his new physics shit. Oh God, Terrence, shut the fuck up. Maybe you're the one who's going to come back in a million years. Because we had to undo your shit too. These guys not only blew up the past, they blew up the future. This is why this is a double evolution count. It's why a lot of the elders and stuff can't realize what's going on right now, because your next ascension cycle ran and you didn't even know. You're having to connect way above that now. This is why it's been made divine. This is why your body's just reactivating when you're doing the right things. This is how the hell you're going to get all the knowledge that you need to attach you back to where and who you are. It will happen. Your body is tuned up to receive it. If it's not tuned up to receive it, then that's what process you're going through as you're doing it. Now, shit, I don't have it on here. I forgot to push that picture. Hold on. Oh, where is it? Okay, so I did it on TikTok, but I can't do it because it's on this phone. So if what I just found out today, if you go, let's see if we can just find it again. This is the story I'm going to end with. He wasn't killed, though, or yes, he was. Oh, my God, right now. Also, where will we find? In a coal mine. And our bodies will appear. We found several of them in walls and all types of shit, but our bodies are coming back. Young woman who's discovering a coal mine challenges our understanding of history. That isn't the one I'm looking for, though. I found an article just today that said there were 3 tombs. It wasn't just her. For whatever reason, the news only brought in 1 mummy. But there were 3 tombs, and there was a male and a female. What video did I just do and talk about me coming through another dimension with my fiance and he's been missing? I already knew that I was attached to this princess this was last year in August that this came out. So we already saw this part a little over a year ago. That's why it's finishing up now, because it is what it is. We've claimed it. But now I know that there are 3 tombs. Well, 2021, when they were taking us up into Lionsgate, and I was like, yeah, you can't take me. I'm Gaia. And then they threw me overboard. And there were 2 that came with me unconscious. I put up a dome. Everybody was staring. And I was like, yes, we're fucking glowing. Now I know that it was like, that was what our new earth. Remember how I told you I rebirthed the new earth? Remember? Okay. Whenever they threw me out of the ship, that's where earth landed. Everything's, whenever I go back to this picture right here, oh shit, it's in the favorites. Ah. You can basically think of whenever they threw me down, and the 3 that were holding this started building, because the energy's coming off us. We hold earth. So see, this happened in 2021. 2022, I was back in Anaheim. Why? Because they tried to spinal tap this field. This field that we had just birthed, they were trying to hold it. Here. This is why I kept screaming. They're trying to spinal tap me. Yes. Because they didn't want this energy all the way coming up. They just wanted our head through. You see what I'm saying? Like we came all the way through. We're in that. That's the new energy. Okay, well then now, how many sarcophaguses were there in Andromeda? 3. So what I'm telling you is that, we created the galactic gate, and we did it on purpose in order to pull everybody through. This is where even when you start understanding exactly what the fuck was going on down here, you start actually cheering for Hitler. When you start understanding why did the Jews get gassed? Because of what they're doing right now. If all that wouldn't have happened, then we wouldn't have had even the molecules to even grab it from another dimension, put it back together. But in human form, you do have that ability. You do. This is why all of us couldn't believe nobody was scared of us. We were scared of us. We don't even know what we're doing. The Most High, we are Charlie's angels, and we don't get a download, and we don't get who it's happening to, and we don't do it alone. We work together in 100, 300, 500, 2,000 of us, and nobody knows who's going to pull the trigger, and nobody knows for sure that you did it. But it ain't for any other reason but karma. And this is how we know that we can do what we can do, because we've had to come back from zero every single time. And you can't kill us. You can't. You can't lock us up. You can't kill us. To them, we were a problem. Now, I almost shit myself yesterday. I saw this last night. This is Jane Seymour. And then this is LaVey's son, who claimed to be head of the Satanic Church and da-da-da-da-da. All this stuff that's linked up with Taylor Swift and this and this and that. Well, and let me tell you, my son and even his father, who now I know is basically like my brother in the hardened line. This is like his family line is so hooked up in this baby farming shit, and it's all coming out. And this is also, you know, they would always talk about my nose when I was little, and even as a grown up, the handlers around me are still talking about my nose, and it's something attached to whoever my father is that they've written on me, because it's basically like, you know, there was a reader, Mama Wata, that came out with a reading yesterday, and my team was like, oh my God. And it was, you're a 13th ethereal being, and you just banished the most ancient jinn that was down here. Well, it's because it was us, trapped in a lower form with no body, forced to serve them. And the whole process of making jinn, they were making jinn. Like, I know this is what they were doing down here. Constellation Web has 30 jinn on their team. What? That's double simians. They have 30 double simians on their team. I mean, there shouldn't even be more than 5,000 on the planet. How many are there? I know there's thousands and thousands, because, I mean, I know at least 5,000 have sent messages to me since 2018. But the head of the Simian Crease will come and tell you in 2018 that I'm the mother of the jinn. So you're going to blame me because you're going to tell me that I made the jinn because I put back together the body to hold cosmic energy so that you could evolve yourself. But then you're going to blame us because our energy was moved and making a jinn whenever you've been doing shit like this. Okay, so this little boy at 6 years old. Now, what's crazy is when you start looking through my pictures, in fact, hold on a minute. I'm going to go get the other ones. Now, mind you, I came in 1972, and I was an AB negative, and I was attached into all of y'all when I came in, but I was clear in the beginning. And this is one of the markers, this little button nose for sure. And then notice the shape of the head and the color of the hair. We all similarly look alike in these younger stages. Okay. Now this is me at 2. See how my eyes are so wide open? They're big. They're wide open. You know, I'm a little chunky right here, but see how my head even has this weird shape? This was at 1. You can see the light in my eyes. Now look at that. What happened? What happened? This is 3 years old. I started being really devious, but I didn't do it in the action. It was my thoughts. I was only 3, so I don't remember all the way back, right? But now walking through all this with my son and all them coming for my son, because they did, and even the ones that were talking about my son to me told me they liked the way he thought. They liked the way my son thinks, because we analyze everything, and in our head we do the mathematics, in our head we do the shadow piece, and that's where they're getting the information whenever they're linked into you, especially if you were made to be one of them. But at 6 years old, this is 5. At 6 is when I know something really, really changed. I started getting like chunky. Now I know that we're never even made to hold weight. Like now I know that all those energies were coming to me. It was 3 years, 6 years. So this is 1978. In 1975 is when Chiron appeared. Chiron was just holding the rest of our mission from as a group, the whole mission. So when I saw this picture, I tripped out. Now, this little boy supposedly, they were at some jungle thing. Now, in Florida, I had to go to a place called Good Time Farms, and I ended up taking a picture in front of the red door of the barn. And if any of y'all have had visions of a red door, and this is even why Elizabeth Arden was the red door, if you had visions of knowing and you were in a barn, or you have a red door that's even on a lab or whatever it is in your knowing, then you were hybridized. There was experimentation that was done to you that your consciousness remembers. Because on the other side of that red door is where we get into the cabal lab shit and the hybridization of DNA lines and open brain surgery. I mean, it's nuts what they were doing to us in there. Like this is why you don't want to go through it. You just want to connect it. You'll be shown what pieces you need to. You just need to know that there's a whole bunch of us that were connected to you that went through it if you didn't. That's really all you need to know. But this little boy got attacked by a lion. Really? Judah? What did I just say in the last video? That I took myself out even? See, this is even where the black magic links up to Sharon Tate and the whole thing with the Mansons, but why she's from Texas. And then what happened to that baby in her womb? See, what happened to Marilyn Monroe's baby? Because she was pregnant. That's why they had her in a barn. They took that baby and that embryo out first. That's why I got mine taken out. Are you following me? Supposedly, LaVey goes up and does some mountain ritual to the devil to save his son, and then supposedly he's saved. But I'm telling you that something happened. Now, what happened in the Appalachians? We moved a mountain. Why? Because it's lined up with the Ozarks and the entire time travel thing that was holding dimensions and sedation letters in the simulation. It's a whole bunch of back doors going into the core of the land on a dragon that never should have been built on top of, according to the original. That's why Louisiana Purchase and the Treaty of Paris were null and void in 2018. Nobody else down here knew that, but the ones that I was around as I was breaking the spells. So as I was breaking the spells, they were going back behind the scenes and re-engineering the Louisiana Purchase and then calling it vaccinations and having you come sign up. So this is even how, you know, I got people in Australia calling me, telling me Taylor Swift is on our side. Well, that's fine. Where is she? If she really is doing all this to help the people, because to me, what it looks like is she's running her own little version of consciousness, and she's trying to make it look like she's the only one who has it, and her people are all just following her consciousness trail, but they're only following her. She's going to jump in the water on the stage and take you down there with it. Or are you going to go to Beyonce's concert and be sucked up by CERN? Because it's what's behind her. So, that's CK, that's my point. That's why I'm showing this. We all have that. We all look like this. My point is, how the fuck did we end up in LeVay's family? I'm telling you how the devil existed. In my world, you know who the devil is? Elvis. You scared of him? I ain't scared of him. But I mean, it is what they did. He didn't know. It's what they used him for. So I'm going to show y'all real quick. I'll keep going. Here's me at 8, man. This is why people look at me that I went to high school with, and they're like, wait a minute, are you the same person? I look just like my son Rex in this picture. This was 10 years old. We all have calyx too. You'll have a calyx, right? He has one here. See my calyx? Here, and then right here at your crown. The masculine tend to have him back here. He has both. I only have this one right here. I mean, I look just like my son. It's a template. This is 13. This is 14. That's when I graduated. That's 1990. See, because we had already cleared through it by then, 1990, because 1990 is when 1991 was going to hook in. And so you see a drastic change in me from 90, 91, 92. Like I'm starting to look more like myself now. But look at this one. I mean, that's 16. See, this is when they got me in Mexico. They got me to Mexico when I was 16 by somebody winning a trip when I bought my car. See, my whole world was rigged. Like, that's how I went to Mexico when I was 16. My boyfriend, who was in college, won a trip to Cancun when he was there in Houston with me buying my Nissan. Then they send us, I mean, it's nuts. I never came out of Mexico. Now I know. I was purposely sent there to grit everything down. So, anyway, That's all I wanted to come on and share. I know some of y'all it's 101, which is original seed energy. Right now, this is all what is culminating in the collective, because that new bubble that we formed and all connections that are into this mountain spell or whatever the hell that we're holding all this. Also, this happened last year today. This split happened 2023. It happened last year today. So, and I mean, you can even see this whole top part coming off. Because if you will, right now, how I explained to y'all that we're going to have 2 years where the energy is it's more like you're now the celebrity and you're learning how to maneuver the cosmic energies. Because for the rest of the collective, it really that's still having to unwind. It's more like the top just blew off, because down here it's moving, but it's moving and everything's moving outside of it so big that you don't even realize it's moving yet. So it's like this form is still here because people are still so strong in their beliefs, being held down, right? So they're in the processor. So right now it's just like this lid, and this is what's happening now until the end of November. This lid is starting to come off, and it's already off way up here. It's starting to diminish in layers as it's coming in. Our etheric bodies are holding the cosmic energy off the others as it's coming in, but it's still getting into them by the blood and by the frequency and the actions. And so for us, we're moving up here now, and we're down here, and we're directly connecting all that cosmic energy direct, and we're steering everything from here. But for the next 2 years, these bubbles of these illusions still exist, and that's why it's so important to know what colors are you wearing. It's all high vibe. It's all high vibe star magic. It's not anything to do with blood, anything to do with piss, anything to do with bodily features. It don't have anything to do with smoke. It really doesn't even have anything to do with the crystal. Like this is the part where if you need a crystal and you don't have the money, go find a rock outside, come back inside, look up what crystal you need, write on that rock that it's that crystal, and then tell that rock it's that crystal. This is where we're at. It's creating it and changing the frequency out of just pure dominant knowing what you need it to do, and making it available. Because the thought and the word is what's going to change it. Just because you changed your mind don't mean that it's going to change your reality. Whenever you change your mind, you better tell somebody and you better dictate what that change is, because your mind might be changed, but it don't mean that you're out of a current. You got to do something about it. You got to call it out. We were all born or freaking exchanged at St. Joseph. And then what's Joseph? The Mormons. What Joseph have? A glimpse into another world? Okay. Was he watching? He's watching us come out of that hole. What did he say? He said, no one else can see it, only I can. Okay, well, that's probably true. But Joseph, why are you the one who could see it? I mean, that whole Joseph story, now Joseph Smith died in a bar fight. Go look it up. We changed it. He's died now. He died in a bar fight. Same as Hardin, John Wesley Hardin, the one they tried to say was my great-grandfather, which killed a bunch of people. See, this is also why they want to put me in the devil's line, so then I have to clean his shit. Nope. Not this round. But then now you know why God and the devil are friends. All right. I'm going to hang up. I love y'all. This is where we're at. You're in good hands. Keep your frequency high. and keep your eyes on the sky.